Bum, 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 bum. The Peter Shit Show. Bum, 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 bum. One of the most frightening things that you can run into, and I have my fair share of them here in Phoenix. Didn't have too many of them back home in Seattle, but here in Phoenix, yeah, I'll be walking down the street, and the light will turn green, and I'll go, and next thing you know, you feel like you have to run for your life because somebody didn't see the light was red. They got distracted. Maybe it's somebody turning, but they got distracted. And I used to think these people are texting and driving, but a couple of times I look up and they aren't texting. They're just distracted by some thought, and they see right through me like they had X-ray vision. And I've learned not to trust anybody on the road here, or I'll be driving. And I sometimes joke to my friends that if I ever need a replacement car, I'll just let one of these people destroy my car and get the insurance money from that. It'll save me the hassle of selling the car. I really could. That's how many distracted drivers there are here in Phoenix, right? I'll probably put a ton of the heavy stuff in the passenger, like mattresses or something, in the passenger in the back seat, just to cushion the impact. But I could literally get somebody to destroy my car on a Saturday afternoon here in Phoenix. I really could. But jokes aside, that's how scary it is sometimes here in Phoenix. And I just don't understand. You spend at most an hour or 2 hours on the road every day. Enjoy the scenery while you're doing it, right? To save the other stuff for later, right? The stuff that you're worried about, when you get home. I gotta cook dinner, gotta argue with my spouse over something, take time away from that stuff, right? Away from the disaster at the workplace, or stuff like that, right? I can't find 2 hours to completely get away from all that stuff every day. Driving is a really good opportunity for me to do that. But people would rather text and drive, get distracted, drink and drive, and all that. I have a serious misfortune, though. I always get the most important text when I'm driving, so I can kind of relate to that. I often pull to the side of the road, and then people are upset that I pulled over to the side of the road to take the text. They'd rather me text and drive on the road for some reason. But I have very bad misfortune with the phone. One thing that will often happen is that there's an important phone call that I'm waiting for. Maybe it's I'm waiting for uh, like during COVID, when precious metal sales were backed up and I was waiting to buy a 1,000-ounce silver bar. I was communicating with the dealer, making sure he had all the right paperwork because there was a lot of fraud going on at the time, right? There was You needed to check my tax returns and a utility bill and all that. And I really didn't want the deal to fall through because silver prices had already started to tick up since I placed the order. So that's an important phone call that I definitely don't want to risk missing. And at the same time, I'm also looking for other work because I had just lost my job as a professor at Washington Technology University at the time. And so I was waiting on a few phone calls for stuff like that. So I got a number of phone calls that I'm waiting for. These people are really busy. When I call in, it's probably a 5 hour wait to get to anybody there. So I'm waiting for them to call me. And I'll let you pause the video to think what kind of bad luck I'll have when that happens. Well, I answer the phone, and it's one of the coin dealer, AppMax, or I forget who I was buying from, and they'll confirm other information with me, and they'll it's really silly. A lot of times when these people call you, they don't cut to the chase. If they need a tax return, just ask for the fucking tax return, right? They start with hello, and they start with trying to upsell you on something, or there's a lot of discussion. Okay, so 15 minutes in, they need to confirm something, and then somebody else important is also calling me. That's the kind of misfortune I have with the phone. And so I could see why somebody might be tempted to text and drive, but I always leave myself plenty of time to pull over to answer those phone calls. But then I get them two or three or four at a time for some reason. Anyways, I distinctly remember I was dealing with AppMax, and I was like, "Please hold, I really got to take this call. Let this person know." And then I switch, and I said, "Could you call me in like 10 minutes or something like that?" And it was really frustrating. I still routinely have that problem. I do tutoring now, both at a tutoring center and a bunch of private gigs as well. And I hate when the phone does that to me. I really do. If anybody has any advice on that, please feel free to leave a comment. But anyways, whatever you do, don't do that while you're driving. Pull off to the side of the road and take 10 phone calls at a time. I don't care if you do that because I have before, but people get very impatient that I stop on the side of a freeway to take care of that. Anyways, this is the Peter Shit Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Shit Show. Bum 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 bum.